Hello everybody, it's Jay Roby. Today we're going to be looking at opposition in detail, and opposition is a very important technique to learn and to master, and hopefully for those of you who aren't too familiar with the concept will find this video useful, and for those of you who are, hopefully it'll be a good refresher. But basically, what is opposition? Well, the power of opposition is basically the ability to make inroads into the enemy position, and there's a couple rules that helps make this technique easier to remember. The first of which, well, actually we're going to look at a number of different forms of opposition. We're going to look at direct opposition, we'll look at diagonal opposition, and then we'll also look at opposition without a direct connection of the kings. So in other words, let's say the black king is over here and the white king is over here. There's no direct connection if they're not on a diagonal. There's still a rule that you can use that'll help you maintain the opposition. So the first one we're going to look at is direct opposition. In other words, the kings are directly facing each other on a file. Now, the rules for opposition are as follows. Whoever is to move with an odd number of squares in between the kings does not have opposition. Conversely, whoever is to move with an even number of squares in between the kings does have opposition. So let's take a look at the first one. We're going to play from white's perspective in this example. Now, if it's black to move, which it is in this example, black does not have opposition. Therefore, white will be able to make inroads into the black position. So if it's black to move, black has 5 options to move to, as you can see here. And none of these allow black to stop the white king from making inroads into its position. We're going to look at the very basic king to f5. Now, as you can see, the black king has moved backwards towards its side of the board, which allows white to encroach farther into the black position. And if black chooses to move to a diagonal square, white can simply get the opposition back by putting an odd number of squares in between the kings with black to move. So as you can see here, black really can't stop white from making its way up into the black side of the board. And that is direct opposition with an odd number of squares. Now I've taken off all the pieces on the board just to highlight the rule. We're going to look at some examples with a pawn later on, but that is direct opposition. So to summarize that one, we'll just flip back here. Whoever is to move with an odd number of squares in between the kings does not have the power of opposition.